Welcome to the train of thought. Please stand behind the yellow line as we're about to approach the station. Today's destination, Deepavali. Today's destination, Deepavali. Welcome to the Train of Thought podcast, where we look back, reflect deeply, and move forward in life. Brought to you by the Poetic Wit. Today's episode is going to be super lit. We're going to be talking about the Festival of Lights. That's right, it's Deepavali. And who better to talk with about Deepavali than a local Malaysian Indian? Please welcome our guest for today, Tushaara Kannan. Woo!
Hi guys.
Hi. Alright, just to give a little context, Tushaara is my colleague from my new office job, 9 to 5 job. I also call her like my office akka because she's only slightly older than me, and yeah, she's Indian. wait, how old are you again? 24, right?
24 this year. I just turned 24.
Hi, alright. Yeah, let's introduce yourself a little bit more for our. I don't want to be talking all the time.
Chill. Okay. Hi guys. So my name is Tushaara. I'm Aaron's co-worker here.
Yeet.
And I'm let me see, how do I put this? I'm 4 years older than him age-wise. Maturity-wise, the jury is still out.
Nani. You're peers lah. I mean.
Yeah, exactly. There's not really much of a hierarchy kind of thing. So I'd say office akka is more of a nickname than anything.
Yeah lah. You all started like I remember you said something about you went in the zone somebody.
No, it's because what I realized that you and Komal were a lot younger than me and Sue. For context, Komal and Sue are two of our other co-workers. And I was just like, oh my god, I'm surrounded by tiny children.
But like Tushaara is not all that older, so like you're all considered same but different. Like, as of recording this, Deepavali is probably, it's a week from now actually. It's gonna be...
It's on the 14th.
It's on the 14th. Oh, that leaves us with roughly 2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, about a week and a couple of days lah.
Right. But by the time you're hearing this, it's already out on Deepavali. So happy Deepavali to all who are celebrating. All right. We were planning like content to put out for our company, BAC. We're writing for this what good news and what kind of stories and angles to talk about Deepavali. Talk about the culture, the history. Even the coffee we're eating right now. I gotta tell you this, right? In all my time of like growing up, mixing around with like family friends during Deepavali, I've only eaten like muruku and some other
like chicken curry and stuff like that.
Okay, the usual chicken curry, a bit of mutton curry, and like some muruku and stuff. I have not tasted other stuff, so I was just introduced to other snacks like there's jalebi, there's this coffee. Coffee is this ice cream that I've just explored, and I was like, oh wow, such heavenly natural flavors.
I really wish I had thought to record your face when you first had it, because dude, you could have been a Bharatanatyam dancer. The amount of emotions that were just dancing across your face, like.
Wait, for context, what's a what
okay.
dancer?
Bharatanatyam is a traditional dance form from south of India. So it has a lot of focus on the Navarasa, or the 9 emotions.
Wow.
Some of them include like joy, grief, hatred, fear, etc. So for Aaron, I'd say the expressions were like apprehension, wonder, and then joy, and then bliss.
Well, I would usually say this myself. Some of the goodness on earth is like a glimpse into the wonders of heaven, if I may say so myself. Wow.
You're in there.
Yeah. So as of right now, we're having a bit of coffee, which is an Indian ice cream dessert, and it uses natural.
Mostly natural flavors, yeah. Like you tended to get the flavors that were quite popular for Indian sweets in general. So you get like saffron or kesar, you get almond, you get pistachio, you get rose, and you get like plain milk also in some occasions.
Wow.
So in Malaysia, what happens is Malaysian flavors tend to leak over. Like this place, Mum's Kulfi, they have pandan flavored as well and durian flavored.
Wow.
And I think they also have mango flavor, but I think mango flavored you might be able to get it across the board, seeing as mango is quite a popular fruit in South Asia.
Oh, so good. So good. Well, Deepavali is definitely going to be different this year. Like, I remember like growing up, we used to visit this, his name's Uncle Rao, our family friend, go over, and then they'll be playing these Bollywood movies on TV, we'll be talking, and also be having all this muruku and hanging out with like the other kids and stuff. And like, yeah, and the food, man, wow, the food. Malaysia, it's always about the food.
Oh, yeah.
How about you? I mean, for all I know, you have experienced more of the Indian culture and stuff, growing up as a local Malaysian Indian yourself. Like, how was Deepavali for you, growing up?
I mean, when I was a kid, it used to be a really big thing. Like, we'd have my dad's office co-workers, my mom's co-workers. For reference, my dad is an engineer and my mom's a teacher. So we'd have like people from school coming over. We'd have my dad's co-workers and friends coming over. We'd have family friends, extended family. It'd be this really huge mishmash of people wandering around to the house and a bunch of uncles and aunties all over the place. And then I don't know how it always happened, but somehow it'd be the uncles gathered in a group outside, the aunties sitting in the hall and yakking, and the kids would all be gathered up in one room watching TV. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. As I got older though, like it started getting a bit more chilled out. Like I think my parents also hit a point where they were like, you know what, whatever, we're just going to relax. So Deepavali became more of a family thing. So it'd be like us and it'd be our extended family, like our cousins and stuff. And then, yeah, that's the thing I tend to remember the most about childhood Deepavali celebrations. It's more like the amount of people and the fireworks, of course. Big thing when I was a kid. Less so now that I have 2 dogs.
Wait, Deepavali got fire? Oh, of course lah, got fireworks.
Festival of lights, ma.
Of course. Oh yeah. Do you get the chance to like decorate the floor with like rice and like lamps and stuff?
Okay, Rangoli, not so much when I was younger with the kolam and Rangoli and stuff. Like my grandma would do a simple one. Me and my sister, my mum had the wisdom of knowing, trusting 2 rambunctious young girls with coloured rice to decorate the house first thing in the morning might not be such a good idea. As I got older, like in the more recent years, my mom has trusted me to like, handle candles and like the matches and stuff. She's like, okay, she's not a kid anymore. She's obviously old enough to handle that. So I've started like trying to sort of decorate the outside with oil lamps and stuff.
I see.
Yeah, so that's about like, slow progression. It starts off watching the decorations to trying to help out with the decorations.
I see. Anyhow, aside from all the time spent with like decorating, spending time with family, I hear that Deepavali is also pretty much a religious holiday for like Hindus.
It is, technically speaking. We have a few interpretations of the stories behind Deepavali. It normally depends on which part of India you're from, and to a greater extent where your families come from, because slight historical context, a lot of Indians in Malaysia, their grandparents or great-grandparents were originally from India or Sri Lanka, but they migrated or moved over here, thank you colonization, for better job opportunities, etc., etc. And they settled down here and planted roots. So like my sister and I are technically what you call second-generation Malaysian Indians.
Wow.
Our grandparents on both sides moved here and had kids here, and our parents met and, biology happened and my sister and I were born. So yeah, we're second.
You had to put it that way.
I mean, polite lah. Don't know what if small kids are listening.
Oh, okay. All right. Like, no, I was actually gonna ask like about if there's any like religious traditions you have to visit a temple or something like that.
There are some. Again, it ties back to which part of India you tend to come from. Like for northern India, there's the story of Ramayana. So what happens is Lord Rama, he was exiled to the forest for 14 years thanks to a very messed up boon that his stepmom asked his dad, requested of his dad, more like it. And the father, being a man of honor, he had no choice but to fulfill the obligation of the boon and exile his son to the forest for 14 years. Wow. Spoiler alert, the dad does die after doing that because apparently he could not bear to be parted from his older son.
Okay.
But moving on. while he's exiled in the forest, his wife is with him, and so is his younger brother. So Rama's wife Sita is abducted by a demon king, Ravana. And this happens because while chasing off some invaders who have come to where they are staying in the forest, one demon brings word of Rama and his brother Lakshman's fantastic supermodel good looks to a demoness called Surpanaka, who is also Ravana's younger sister. So Surpanaka thinks that she's going to get herself a husband. I'm sorry, it's very convoluted.
No, please continue. I was just figuring out the connections.
Sort of half confused Pikachu face trying to figure out all the nets.
No. I've actually seen this story play out in one of my study of religions classes. But then hearing you describe all the family tree, I had to wait, what? But yeah, hey, continue. This is a very interesting, guys. If you don't already know, this is Tushaara describing the origins or the origin story, or one of the many versions. One of the many versions of the origin story of how Deepavali came about. So
continuing from Surpanaka thinking, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll go and check out these guys and see if I can get myself a husband. She visits the ashram where Ram, Lakshman and Sita are staying. And she tries to convince them, like, hey, I'm very good looking. And because the thing is, she's a demoness, but she also knows how to disguise herself. So she disguises herself to look like what you would call a bomb-ass babe.
Wow.
Yeah, except the thing is, Rama was called the Mayada Purushottam, I think. So perfect man. So basically, he didn't look at anybody else besides his wife. So he was like, yeah, no, dude, I'm married. Sorry, not interested. Tell you what, my brother's single. Why don't you try him? And his brother is just like, dude, no, what? No. Because at that point, Lakshman was actually married to Sita's sister.
Oh.
Yeah. So Lakshman's just like, dude, no, sorry, no, not interested. I'm married too. No, tell you what, why don't you ask him again? And they are basically doing this because they are both not interested, but Surpanaka here is not taking the hint. And guys, breaking away from the story, please always take the hint. Okay. So, moving on. Finally, Surpanaka gets pissed off. And she says, you know what? I know what the problem is, your wife. Tell you what, let's get rid of her and then I can date you.
Yeah, that's a real demon right there.
Yeah, 0 to 100 real quick. And the thing is, her name Surpanaka means nails like a winnowing basket. So I don't know if you've seen that thing people used to clean rice, that winnowing basket. But that sharp and triangular shape was what her nails were shaped like. And she had them fully extended, ready to like scratch Sita up and, kill her. But this did not fly over with Lakshman or Ram because, wife, sister-in-law, like, what do you think you're doing? So they fought back. And this resulted in Surpanaka's nose and ears being cut off.
Yikes.
Exactly. So yeah, so basically Surpanaka was pissed because even though she could do magic and she could sort of magic herself up to look pretty, if the illusion ever fell, she'd be exposed. So it would be exhausting maintaining a 24-hour illusion, right? So obviously, pissed herself. So what our friend does is she runs back to her big brother Ravana, who's the king of a country called Lanka, and she goes to him and goes like, oh my god, these men attacked me. Playing the victim.
Oh.
Like, guys, I'm 100% against victim blaming, but you cannot call yourself the victim if you start shit and then you go and face the consequences for it.
Don't go running to your demon brother with like 10 hits or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, he had multiple hits or multiple hits.
Ravana had 10 hits, which is supposedly reflective of the many facets of man.
Wow.
Yeah. So the thing is, Ravana, giving credit where it's due, he told her, dude, I cannot do anything if you decide to go and start trouble. So, another fact about Ravana, he's also a notorious, shall we say, lover of women.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, Surpanaka does what any sane, well-balanced young woman would do when she tries to start shit and her brother doesn't back her up on her stupid behavior. She starts telling him about the beauty of Sita and how she'd be such a beautiful vision at his side.
Wait, this is the same Sita that she tried to kill, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
I know, right? And she's like, you know what? She's really gorgeous, man. You should just like kidnap her and get her married to you. Like she'd be a much better queen for you than that, punk. And Ravana, being the sane, well-adjusted individual that he is, agrees. Now, bear in mind, this dude was supposed to be some kind of scholar, venerated scholar, talented musician, philosophical debater, and everything.
Ravana.
Yeah, Ravana.
Wow.
Like I said, many faceted aspects of man. But this is where he slipped up. His overt fondness for women. This is where he screwed up. Because, when your sister is telling you that stuff after you ignore her the first time, that might be a point for you to be like, no, sis, no, cut it out, stop. Yeah, he did not. So anyway, Ravana decides to kidnap Sita. And Ram, being the stand-up guy that he is, does not take this too well. So, there's a big war and everything. Ram manages to gather up an army. And the war that he has with Ravana, fighting to get his wife back, spans the entire length of his exile. So it's a pretty good way to fill up your time effectively, lah.
How long was he exiled for?
14 years.
Sorry?
14 years.
Wow. 14 years. Can go to school, get graduated.
Actually, to be fair, I think he was nearing the end of his exile when the kidnapping happened.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah,
if I remember, that's how the story went.
Yeah, he was nearing the end of his exile. So it'd be like the last part of the exile. Like, it's not like that moment where everything's chill in school and then suddenly you've got finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's chill in the exile and suddenly your wife gets kidnapped and you have to go to war.
Calm before the storm.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, spoiler alert for those of you who haven't heard the story before. He successfully kills Ravana, decimates his army, and he gets his wife back. But there's more to the story later on. I can't spoil it for you now because that would ruin the rest of the Deepavali story, but go and check it out. So what happens is when Ram, Sita and Lakshman finally go back home to their kingdom, Ayodhya, after 14 long years of exile, it is a moonless night. It's the night of the new moon. So there's no light to guide them, but the people of the town are so overjoyed, they light their way with multiple oil lamps.
The prodigal son returns.
Exactly. And that's sort of where Deepavali kind of gets its name from, because Deepam or Deepa, the small lamp, and then Vali, path. Deepavali, path of light.
Path of lights.
So that's the North Indian version of it. The South Indian version of it has another reincarnation, Krishna. Rama and Krishna, by the way, are reincarnations of the preserver, Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, one of the Holy Trinity, I guess you'd say, for Hindu gods.
Okay.
Yeah. Trust me, there's a lot of interconnecting webs. I look like a conspiracy theorist with one of those robots behind me trying to explain it all. But so what happened was Krishna, the South Indian version came up with Krishna defeating a demon king called Narakasura, who had kidnapped 16,000 women. And in doing so, he had disrespected the mother of the heavens, the mother of the king of the heavens, Indra, by stealing her earrings. So it was actually serious disrespect, because it's sort of like going up to somebody's mom and just smacking them across the face for no damn reason.
Okay.
Yeah. So she was pissed, and she went to speak to one of her relatives, Satyabhama, who was Krishna's wife. And Krishna heard, and he was not happy. And when he heard of this instance of disrespect and a lot of the other stuff that Narakasura was getting up to, like the 16,000 kidnappings and so on, he was like, okay, this guy needs to be stopped. And he found Narakasura, and there was a really, really huge battle between the two of them. But one positive end was Narakasura did get his ass beat. And he also repented. Krishna sort of held him down. Krishna, if there's any Hindus listening to this, I'm right. Krishna has a tendency to wax philosophical and give his opponents and allies alike a lot of advice, which most of the time, if they follow, they don't get their ass beat. But if they do not follow that advice, then yeah, they're screwed. So, Narakasura, after he was beaten and, lying there with his final breath, I was such a horrible guy. I repent everything I've done. And he also requested that to commemorate his death and to celebrate the fact that good had won over evil, the day be celebrated with lots of lights, colors, bright colors, and that people light oil lamps in their house.
Wow. So are those only like two versions?
That's two versions, and a third version is that.
Wow, a third version.
This is fairly short, but a lot of people believe that Lakshmi, the goddess of wealth and prosperity,
Oh yeah.
who is also Vishnu's wife, by the way,
Okay.
she decides to stop over and visit people during Deepavali, like she's present. So a lot of people decorate their houses with lamps and so on, lamps, columns, rangolis and everything, sort of like guide her like, yo, this way, please, pass some of that prosperity to me. The columns also have columns, for those of you who aren't sure, they're those colourful patterns you see drawn outside doorways. So columns have the additional aspect of chasing off Lakshmi's sister, Mu Devi. Indians, you probably would have heard the word Mu Devi used as a curse. Bet you didn't know she was Lakshmi's sister. Those of you who knew, good on you. So Mu Devi is the opposite of Lakshmi. Lakshmi is prosperity and bad luck. Prosperity and good luck. See, getting her mixed up with the sister.
Okay.
Lakshmi is the goddess of prosperity and good luck. While Mu Devi, on the other hand, bad luck, misfortune, etc. So the kolam is to tell Lakshmi, please come in. And to tell Mu Devi, please stay out.
How interesting that they're sisters.
They tend to say what luck is basically a flip of a coin. It can be good, it can be bad.
Right. I see. Interesting. A lot of variations the stories. Would you say the North Indian version is more popular? Because I think that's why I heard first.
That's what a lot of people tend to hear. The South Indian version is very popular if you go like further down south. But the North Indian version tends to be the one that's more predominant among most people, I think. But I think that might be because of the lighting of the lamps and everything. Because Deepavali, the connotations lah.
Yeah, I see. So yeah, that's your origins. That's the sort of the mythology that Hindus have, which sort of originates the whole Deepavali story. How they light the lamps, get lit, and I'm sorry. And yeah, but I see that there is a sort of underlying common theme throughout these stories and even in the practices and whatnot. What would you say that would be?
I would say it's basically light over darkness and to a greater extent good over evil. Lord knows we need that right now.
We need that every day. Yeah, what do you think would be, let's say, the moral of the story, or should I say stories?
I'd say basically the biggest thing I can take is there are a lot of negative influences because even in the story of Narakasura, he was influenced by people who sort of praised him and fawned over him too much to the point that it went to his head and he thought he was so powerful he could mess with, even the mother of the heavens and he'd come out unscathed. And Ravana getting that horrible advice from his sister.
Yeah.
I'd say the message here is there will be a lot, and I mean a lot of negative influences and so on in your life. There might be a friend who's, she's not really a friend, but someone with inverted commas. There might be negative influences that you see everywhere, but you can't let them win. At the end of the day, you can't let the darkness in if you want to thrive in the light.
Amen. Okay. Yeah, Tushaara, she comes from a Hindu background. I'm a Christian, and there are a lot of some similar themes that even I would agree with, even let's say celebrating Deepavali, this whole thing with light and darkness. The first, the very dominant thing I hear throughout these stories are demons. A lot of demons, a lot of, you would say, evil and bad influences. Even in our world today, there's a lot of I would say that as a Christian, I believe that all of us human beings are fallen. We have messed up. We have sinned and stuff, and we have the tendency to always do all those horrible stuff because of that. Us having that fallen nature. But if you were to repent, you look to the light. I mean, in my case, it's Jesus. You look to the light.
In my case, I have to decide which of them to look at.
You and your many gods, am I right?
Perks of polytheism, folks.
Yeah. And yeah, so if we were to think twice, repent, and actually look to the light and consider things like wisdom and discern right from wrong, I mean, of course, as for my stuff, I will also say there's more to this, but the basis, the very surface of it is like is this. Then we shall see that, hey, just because we feel like doing something doesn't mean it's right, or it is always a good thing when it's actually darkness, trying to influence us to screw things up even more.
Impulse control, people.
Impulse control. It's in our nature, folks. So I think that's all for us. Tushaara, in advance, happy Deepavali, and thank you for introducing me to wonderful coffee again.
I'll try and bring Muiku if I can next
Oh, yes, please. Thank you so much. All right.
No worries, man.
This is the Train of Thought podcast, where we look back, reflect deeply, and move forward in life, brought to you by The Poetic Wit, with your chain conductor host for today, Aaron Patrick, and with me,
Tushaara Kannan.
now signing out. Peace. Let's go. Lit.
That was fun, man.
Thank you.